Morning, ma'am.
Good
Good
morning.
morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Our
Good
topic
morning,
is
ma'am.
chemical reactions, and we have completed the decomposition reaction. Decomposition. There are different kinds of decomposition. Decomposition by light, and it is known as photolysis. Decomposition with electricity, and it is known as electrolysis. See what is photolysis. 100 page number 102. Photolysis. Photolysis is the decomposition in which a compound breaks down in the presence of light. Of a compound in the presence of light. Is known as photolysis. Photo means light and lysis means breaking of something. Here is example is hypochlorous, HClO. When light falls on this compound, it changes into hydrochloric acid and oxygen. And the process is known as hydrolysis. Sunlight. The another example is silver nitrate. When we keep the silver nitrate in sunlight, it decomposes into silver, oxygen and nitrogen dioxide. AgNO3, in the presence of sunlight, it breaks down into silver, oxygen and nitrogen dioxide. Due to this reason, silver nitrate is kept into brown bottle. We cannot keep them in a transparent white glass bottle, because white glass bottle catch the sunlight and silver nitrate break down into silver and oxygen. Due to this reason, silver nitrate always kept into the brown bottle. Now the next is electrolysis. When a decomposition occurs in presence of electricity, is known as electrolysis. Electro means electricity and lysis means breakdown. A decomposition take place in the presence of electricity. An example of this type of reaction is H2O. When electricity is passed in acidulated water, means slightly acid is mixed in water, and these help in the formation of H plus and minus ion. Electric current is passed in water, then it changes into hydrogen and oxygen. Molten sodium chloride. One another example of sodium chloride. When electric current is passed, and then it changes into sodium and chlorine atom. Sodium and chlorine compound. Greenish yellow gas of chlorine is evolved. Greenish yellow gas. of chlorine. This is all about the electrolysis or decomposition. Another type of decomposition is thermal dissociation. In the presence of heat, when decomposition takes place in presence of heat, then it is known as thermal decomposition or thermal dissociation. It's a reversible reaction, and it change into NH3 and chlorine, NH3 and HCl. From this product, it will again change into reactant. Due to this, the process is reversible. Reversible thermal decomposition reaction in which the product combined on cooling is known as the thermal dissociation reaction. It is indicated by the two arrow, reversible arrow. These arrow shows the reaction is going backward as well as forward and backward also. Now the third type of reaction is displacement reaction. Displacement reaction. In this reaction, it's a chemical reaction in which an element replaces another element. One element replaced by another element is known as displacement reaction. Example is Cl2 and potassium iodide. Here, displacement of iodine in chlorine, and the new compound is formed, potassium chloride and iodine in. This is the displacement reaction. Some another example of displacement reaction is zinc on reacting with copper sulfate. Now this sulfate removed from the copper and joined with the zinc and forms zinc sulfate and copper release after the reaction. This is another type of displacement. The copper is changed into the atom form and the zinc is in ion form. So due to this displacement of this atom, sulfate ion is known as, the reaction is known as displacement reaction. The activity series of metal is the least of metal in the order of their decreasing chemical. Here is a activity series. The activity series is some common metal is given below. The most reactive element occupies the top position. They are the most active element and they are take position at the top, and least reactive metal is at the bottom of the series. Magnesium, aluminium, zinc, iron, stainless, plumbum, stannic, hydrogen, copper, hydrogerium, silver and gold. Here is the activity series. In this, the activity decreases as we go down from this series. This is the top reactive metals are take position at the top, and the least reactive metal take place at the bottom. The metals below hydrogen do not react and show displacement reaction. ये iron hydrogen is take place here, and below hydrogen, it means copper, hydrogen, silver and gold, they do not show displacement. The metal below hydrogen do not react and show displacement. So in case of this, these are the below the hydrogen. When sodium react with hydrogen chloride, then it do not react with, they do not show displacement. They remove hydrogen from the atom. There is no displacement in sodium atom. Then magnesium and HCl. Now it change into magnesium chloride, and hydrogen removed from the reaction. PbHCl. Lead react with the hydrogen chloride, and there is no reaction take place. Same for the copper. It do not take any reaction between them. This is all about the activity series. How we can see the displacement reaction. Here is an experiment. Take two beakers. Take two conical flasks. Add to both the dilute solution of copper sulfate. Solution of copper sulfate. Then now add an iron nail to one of the flasks. Put iron nail in one glass. It's an iron nail in one conical flask, and observe for some time. After some time, we will find that the iron nail becomes brownish. This become brownish, and the blue color of copper sulfate solution fade to the green color. It is blue in color, but here is a fade green color, fade into green color because of displacement of copper from the copper sulfate. The reaction take place in this way. It forms FeSO4 and remove copper from the copper sulfate and forms ferrous sulfate. This is the displacement reaction between copper sulfate and iron. Iron displacing copper from the copper sulfate solution. Some example of displacement reaction are as follows. Copper react with silver nitrate and forms copper nitrate and displace silver. See, the copper react with the silver nitrate and it turns into the copper nitrate. And displace silver from the silver nitrate. Cl2 react with sodium bromide. Now it displaces the bromine from the sodium bromide. It change into NaCl and bromine gas evolved out. Then chlorine react with the potassium iodide, Ki, and it displaces iodine from the potassium and form potassium chloride and displace iodine. Fe and CuSO4, we have discussed it earlier. Fe means iron react with copper sulfate. This is the reaction of this activity. Now it change into Fe, SO4 and copper displaced from the reaction. This is all about the example of displacement reaction.
Hey, ma'am.
Reactive metal react with cool water. The most reactive metals react with water, cold water. Less reactive metal react with boiling water, and the least reactive metals react with steam. There are different conditions. Some atoms react with the cold water, some react with the hot water, boiling water, and some are in the presence of steam or vapor. Here are some examples. Potassium react with water and it forms KOA. The reaction takes place in cold water. Then same for the sodium. Sodium react with water and form NaOH and release hydrogen gas. It also react with cold water. Then calcium react with water. It forms CaOH whole twice and release hydrogen gas. And these reactions take place in boiling water. Same for the magnesium chloride. Magnesium react with boiled water. Both the reaction are taking place in boiling water. From NaOH and hydrogen is released from the. Yes. Metals react with dilute acid, liberating hydrogen. It takes in boiling water, and this is in the presence of vapor or steam. There are three types of reactions. Some reaction take place in cold water, some is taking place in boiled water, and some are in vapor. They require more temperature. Metal react with dilute acid, liberating hydrogen. Liberating hydrogen. Magnesium reacts S2SO4 and it forms MgSO4 and release hydrogen. Zinc react with the acid, sulfuric acid, then it forms zinc sulfate and release hydrogen. Yes. Sodium react with hydrogen, sulfuric acid, H2SO4 and it forms sodium sulfate, Na2SO4 and release hydrogen. Same for the potassium. When potassium react with sulfuric acid, it forms K2SO4 and release hydrogen. In case of copper, there is no reaction take place between copper and sulfuric acid. Metal above hydrogen react with cold water and dilute sulfuric acid and liberating hydrogen gas. Reaction with hydrochloric acid. With hydrochloric acid. It is potassium react with hydrochloric acid and it forms potassium chloride and release hydrogen. Same for the zinc chloride. It forms zinc chloride and forms hydrogen gas. Fe react with hydrogen chloride and forms FeCl2 and release hydrogen chloride. Lead react with the hydrochloric acid and it forms PbCl2, lead chloride, and release hydrogen gas. This is the reaction between metals and acid. Metals present below hydrogen do not liberate hydrogen. See the activity series, and below the hydrogen is copper, hydrogen, silver and gold. They do not react with the acid and do not release hydrogen gas. Here is a skill. Feel, arrange the following element in decreasing order of their reactivity. You can take the help of activity series which is given in the table, page number 103. Element and symbol. This is the activity series. If you arrange them in their reactive form. Now the next and last, double decomposition or double displacement. Double displacement or double decomposition. Double decomposition. A reaction in which the constituents of compound mutually exchange their radicals to form two different compounds is known as double displacement reaction. AB plus CD. When they react, B replaced by the D and C replaced by B. The reaction A displaced by there is new compound is formed between AD and BC. The double displacement reaction, the positive portion of two ionic compounds are interchanged. These are the positive compound. The first we have to write the positive, and these are negative. One positive and one negative. So this positive compound displaces another positive compound and the negative compound displaces another compound. This is all about the double displacement. Double displacement, here is a example. When clear aqueous solution of lead nitrate, it is PbNO2 NO3 whole twice, react with potassium iodide. They form PbI2 and K2NO3. react with the potassium iodide are mixed, a double displacement reaction take place and a yellow solid appears in the mixture. It is a white yellow PPT. We can see the yellow PPT in the reaction. These solid is lead 2, means the valency of lead is 2. Lead iodide and the precipitate out because of its insoluble in water because they is insoluble in water. This nitrate is displaced by the nitrates the position of nitrate is taken by the iodide and the position of lead is taken by the potassium. So this is the example of double displacement reaction. Another example of double displacement reaction is when barium chloride react with the sodium sulfate. Barium chloride, the aqueous solution of barium chloride react with the sodium sulfate, Na2SO4. Now, after the reaction, barium sulfate is formed and sodium chloride is formed. And barium chloride, we can get the barium chloride precipitate in the solution, BaCl2. Barium sulfate precipitate. The another example of double displacement is nickel nitrate, NiNO3 whole twice. Nickel nitrate react with the sodium hydroxide and it forms NiOH whole twice and sodium nitrate. This nitrate is displaced by this and this nickel react with the hydroxide and nitrate react with the sodium and form nickel hydroxide and sodium nitrate. The next is another example of sodium chloride react with the lead nitrate. Now it change into sodium nitrate and lead chloride. Na3. Barium nitrate react with the potassium sulfate. Barium nitrate react with potassium sulfate. It is barium nitrate, potassium sulfate, K2SO4. Now it change into BaSO4 and KNO3. This is the reaction of double displacement. Do you have any problem?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Precipitation reaction. Precipitation reaction is the reaction in which a insoluble product is formed. In a reaction, there is an insoluble product is formed, and this insoluble product we can see in the reaction, and this insoluble substance is known as precipitate. Precipitation reaction involves the formation of an insoluble product. A milky suspension of insoluble calcium carbonate is formed with the reaction between carbon dioxide and calcium hydroxide. It forms CaCO3 and H2. It forms CaCO3 and H2O. It is white precipitate, white PPT. Precipitation reactions are very useful in analysis and can also be used in the paint industry for making insoluble pigment. It is used in paint industry and it is useful for the analysis of any compound. One another example is sodium chloride NaCl react with silver nitrate AgNO3 and it forms NaNO3 and HgCl. The white PPT of silver chloride is formed in this reaction. PPT is shown by the down arrow. This will settle down after some time. Another example is ferric chloride FeCl3 react with NaOH. Then it forms sodium chloride and ferric oxide. NaCl. Sodium chloride and ferric hydroxide. And this will show by this arrow. Lead nitrate react with sodium sulfate. Then it forms sodium nitrate and lead sulfate. PbSO4 and NaNO3. NaNO3 and lead sulfide is settled down at the bottom. Now for this time, do you have any problem?
No, ma'am.
Okay, neutralization reaction we will take in our next period. Is it clear?
It is clear, ma'am.
Yes, we will take this reactions in next period. For today, I am leaving the class. If you want to ask anything.
No doubt, ma'am.
Okay. Have a good day.
No, ma'am.